Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the Voice Spotlight. Um, tonight's guest is not a stranger to many of you if you're members of VLF and if you've caught our broadcasts on online. Um, but if not, I'd like to introduce to you other guys, Minister Tyrell Gibson, Brother Ty, however you want to say it. This is Mr. Gibson. How are you doing tonight, Ty?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing good, doing good. So, um, I had started doing some things at the church, but sometimes the ministries I can do, but sometimes the people are just as interesting as the ministries. So we're going to jump right in, and I don't want to put you on the spot. How old are you now?
I just turned 35, what, a week ago? Week and a
Okay.
couple of days.
All right. Weekend, a couple of days. So 35 years old. You have a lot of irons in the fire. You sing, um, you give the word, and you've started some new things in your life. So let's go with your spiritual life. When and where did your spiritual life begin?
Oh man. Um, you would root it back all the way to 615, 617 Green Street in Havre de Grace, Maryland, St. James AME. That was the church of my youth. Um, Everything kind of started back then. I think it was probably around the age of five, six. I knew that even back then that I was called to preach. Now, at 5, 6 years old, I didn't know exactly what that meant or what that looked like, but I definitely knew that there was a calling on my life, and others were speaking that over me as well. But that's kind of where it all started, and then my mom kept me in church my whole childhood. So whether that was at St. James, which we attended at two different times, and then there was another non-denominational church that really helped to shape my growth, where I actually ended up being the associate pastor there for a few years. But yeah, the AME church definitely was where ministry started for me.
And that was going to be my question, if you've been AME the whole time, but you said you were at a non-denominational church as well.
Hmm.
Now, I found out, though I've never gotten deeper into it, I found out that we're associated, and that's where Small World comes in, with the same person. I used to work with Lenny Austin, correct?
Yes,
And
sir.
you are familiar with Lenny Austin. How are you familiar with Lenny? Or
So
Lenard?
speaking of that non-denominational church where I served as the associate pastor, Pastor Lenny Alston was the senior pastor, New Beginnings Christian Church in Havre Grace. Yeah, that's my guy. That is my father, one of my fathers in ministry, who really gave me an opportunity that I'm ever so grateful for him, his love, and him believing in me.
Good. So, one of the other talents that you bring to Victoria's Living Faith Ministry is your gift of voice, of singing. Um, like you said, you knew when you were young that you were going into the ministry and speak. So, what about the singing? Where did that come in at?
Honestly, that probably came in around the same time. Um, I wanted to sing on the youth choir when I was like 6, 7 years old. My sister is 7 years older than me, So she was singing on the choir, and I was at the rehearsals, but I had to sing on the little kids choir. But that wasn't where I wanted to be. So anyway, but eventually, after they finally heard me sing and I finally found my voice, even at 6, 7 years old, I was one of the younger members of the youth choir, but I was able to join our youth choir, and it kind of started from there.
Okay. And I personally love you to sing. I know the congregation does, and some of the online folks, including my family in Pensacola, they like to hear you sing and preach. So I guess it was at under Austin that you began bringing the word. Um, how old were you when you gave your first sermon or spoke for the first time?
So, well, actually, the first time that I preached, I was at St. James. So to go through a very short history, I started out at St. James, started the AME process of going into ministry. Gave my initial sermon in 2010, I believe, January 2010. So I was 19 at the time. Um, and I started there, and from there, a few years later, Pastor Olson and I reconnected, and that's when I ended up at New Beginnings and served under him for, oh gosh, probably from 2012 through 2020.
Okay, yeah, and I was going to ask you how long have you been doing it? So, our ministerial staff at DLF, they all have gifts. Um, but I think I can't say it's just you and me, Sean, because Pastor Phil will do it too. But you sprinkle in a little bit of life as excuse me, as it is now, and up to the point that you sprinkle in some songs, music, stanzas, verses in that, and it serves to bring a unique word. Have you been doing that since you have been preaching?
I'll be honest, no. I've really started to, I'll say, probably come into my own and my own sense of what preaching looks like, honestly, probably over about the last 2 years.
Hmm.
Um, and actually, a big part of that is definitely ascribed to Pastor Phil and also Pastor Gray. Both of them, watching them be themselves when they preach and not try to be like anybody else. Um, Seeing that really made a lasting impact on me in ministry.
It definitely, the delivery is definitely something that I've looked forward to because, and I guess that's for most of our ministers, where I'm anxious to find out, what little gem in there or Easter egg sometimes, because I think you guys put Easter eggs in your words, and it comes off very well. It comes off very well. So we're
Thank
going to
you.
segue out of the church for a little bit. Yeah, for a little bit. Um, you've had a lot of irons in the fire since I've met you. Um, but I have to ask about the photography. Are that iron's not in the fire anymore?
Not really, not at this point. I've kind of stepped to the background. My wife, she's the real photographer. She's the artist in the family. I used to do sports photography back in the day as a way for me to stay close to basketball. And I always loved doing photography, but I never really took it serious. It wasn't until life threw me a curveball and I was like, I've got to figure out a way to make some extra money. And I was like, you know what? I see everybody else doing photography and making money from it now. I started doing it years ago. Why not pick it back up? And then I asked Brittany if she wanted to join me because I knew that she did photography. And then she, in all honesty, she took over. But I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all.
Okay, good, good, good. So, we'll continue a little bit outside of the church. Um, Tell us about Tyrell Gibson, the father.
Ah, he's a man that is constantly trying to figure out how to do this thing called fatherhood. Um, I mean, every day is a different journey, especially with Jackson. Jackson lives with me full time, so his and our dynamic is a little different than the dynamic that Izzy and I have. But that guy, he really stretches me. Izzy, I thank God for her so much because if both of them were him, I don't know, I don't know where I'd be right now because I'd be insane.
And why do you say that?
She's so calm, cool, collected, and an introvert like myself and my wife. Like she's chill. Jackson, on the other hand, that guy, he is the extrovert of the family. You are going to hear him before you see him. He is into everything. He wants to do everything. And I love it in some ways, because in some ways that's great. It sparks his curiosity. It allows him to try new things, to be different. But at the same time, that's also the kid that gets into everything.
Yeah, well, he's a boy, but I do say that I look how he has started to get into tendrils of music and what he's doing, and I look at how you um, react to it. I think on at least one or two occasions, one recently during one of our men's, he actually surprises you in some of the things that he's doing. Um, but I like that you have given him the space, the room, and the support, I guess, to try new things. And he has surprised me on a couple occasions too. With I guess it started with the drums, but now he's doing bass. So it's. Are we looking at the next Prince? I don't know. You know. So, but everybody starts somewhere, and for his age, and for me to see one at his age and what he's doing, you hear it. This person started this age, and this person's doing this, but to actually see what he's doing with his gifts and where he's going with it, I personally hope that he continues to work with it and expand upon it. So,
Most definitely.
um, a little bit ago, you turned 35, correct?
Yes, sir.
Um, but a little bit ago, you just celebrated your year as Mr. Gibson to a Mrs. Gibson. So tell us about Tyrell, the husband.
Kind of just like Tyrell the father, a guy that's trying to figure it out day by day. Um, yeah, my wife is my everything. She is amazing. This last year has been, an interesting year. It's brought a lot of challenges, a lot of self-brought on challenges. But nonetheless, has brought a lot of challenges. But at the same time, her and I have been able to grow closer together and learn how to weather storms.
Okay. Okay. All right. Um, so since January the 19th, I've been on a life adjustment to lose weight with Fit for Life. But you started on a I don't know whether we want to say a health or fitness journey, but you started on the journey outside of Fit for Life. You're doing your own thing. So, um, is it a health journey? Is it a fitness journey? What were its beginnings and what is it now? And where is it going?
So honestly, the start of it started, it was probably about February, March of 2024. Um, Me and my best friend were at Wood Home Recreation Center playing basketball. Thursday nights were basketball nights, and kept getting into it with this young kid, and he kept going at me, but all he was really going at me about was my size. And I was like, yeah, I told my boy that night, I was like, this ain't happening again. And I made up my mind that night. I was like, yeah, I'm doing something different. And that ended up being the spark and the catalyst. But that is not at all, what it ended up really being. It ended up going from, revenge health kick to a full-on transformation. And I can't even say just physically, like it has been a full transformation mentally, spiritually, as well as physically.
Right. I've noticed on some of your posts, it's not for me, but it seems to be more relaxing for you when you're in the gym and doing these things. So, it started February of 2024. We are in October of 2025. I definitely have seen, and everybody around have seen, the differences in where you are body-wise and such. So, where are you today with it?
Currently, I'm 150 pounds lighter than when I started. Um, Down to about 175 pounds now. Matter of fact, actually, next week, I step on stage for my UFE competition, bodybuilding transformation competition, which I don't know. There's something in the back of my mind just telling me that I'm going to win this thing. Um, I've been working really hard, and even though like this was something to celebrate it. At the same time, the competitor in me is like, yeah, yeah, we got to win this thing though. So anyway, but yeah, right now sitting at about 175 pounds, a lot healthier, off a lot of the medications that I was on, and if I'm not off of the medication, the dose has been brought down to its lowest dose. Um, and yeah, feeling a lot healthier physically, mentally, spiritually.
And so where you are mentally, physically, and spiritually has opened up a new how do we want to say it? Something that you are wanting to share. So
Yeah.
tell us about this venture with the health and fitness.
So yeah, so I'd actually have to take it all the way back to when I was in high school. I went to high school out in Harford County to a high school called Harford Tech, and I studied sports medicine there from ninth through 12th grade. And I knew back then how much I loved training people, working with people, working with athletes, coaching, all of that. Anything sports and fitness and nutrition, give it to me. However, life happened after high school. Started college, but then started also being a knucklehead, and then had kids, and that's when life got real. Um, so anyway, straight away from personal training or anything remotely close to that, ended up in youth development. Um, and then this most recent transformation, I was once I really got into it and started getting back into the thick of it, I was like, yeah, there's no reason why we can't do this again. Which has birthed a lot of different things at this point. Everything from I went back and got certified as a personal trainer, um, going and starting personal training classes at this point, but also now working on bridging what I believe are my two gifts, youth development, as well as working with people in fitness. And actually, my new job is giving me the opportunity to kind of pilot what a GPS fitness camp would look like next summer.
Okay. That segues into this new job. I had the pleasure of coming down and helping for a few minutes, or hour or so, at your where your place of business is now. It was a walk down memory lane with me because um, just a few blocks away is the area where my pop and brothers had a garage that we worked on vehicles. That's where I learned to work on vehicles. It just felt really good in that area. But tell us about the new job.
Yeah, so this ended up being kind of a blessing in disguise. Um, I wasn't looking for this job, to be honest. It kind of happened exactly when I needed it. But I am the program manager or center director, whatever you want to call it, of the 29th Street Community Center here in Baltimore City. And yeah, we're just getting things off the ground, but I love it. We had a $1.3 million renovation to the building. And after they finished up the renovation, they needed somebody new to come in with some ideas and some programs and to get things off the ground. And for some reason, through the interview process, they thought that I was the guy. So here I am.
Tony, any ideas or programs that you can share with us tonight?
So I know one program or event at least that I plan on running is a kidpreneur event. I'm hoping to do that in December. So one of our partners that we work with here, they're called the National Born Champions, or Natural Born Champions, excuse me. They work with kids on entrepreneurship. So they run an after school program for our center. They do grades 6 through 8, and they teach them how to become entrepreneurs, how to do the full business model, everything from planning it out and scaling it. How do you figure out what your MVP is going to be, most viable product, and all of that, and then get them out there and start actually being entrepreneurs. So with that and them doing that, and we're not the only site that they do that with. One of the things that I'm going to be working on is having a fair where the kids are able to take these things that they're selling, whatever their entrepreneur skill is, whatever their business is, they're going to have a fair, and we're going to have the community come in and uh, service or receive services and goods from these youth that have started some sort of business.
Please remind me when you do that, because maybe I can come down and get a little content that we can share with our folks on that. Um, and I made the statement, and the statement still holds that if I have some free time, I don't mind coming down and helping in that area. Um, my probably biggest skill might be management. I don't know if that has a place to help you down there, but I would definitely uh, wouldn't mind coming down and helping you there. I think it's a worthwhile venture. Um, I I'm from a age, of course, I'm being older than you, where we had rec centers all over the place and we had things to do after school. And until you got back into it, I thought all of that had kind of disappeared. So it is a welcome relief to see that it is being done. And then with somebody like you at the helm, I think that it's going to definitely make its footprint over in that area. Like I said, I know the area very well, know some of the neighborhoods and stuff. So that is an area that could definitely benefit from what you're going to bring to it.
I hope so. And yeah, anybody watching and listening, if you would love to come and volunteer, trust me, we need the help.
Okay, so I'll get some information from you and we can post that at the end of this. So just before we started this, and I say I wouldn't keep you long, um, you spoke about a podcast. I didn't
Yeah.
ask you the content of the podcast because I thought it was a good question. So I'll let you speak about is it a possible broadcast? I mean, a podcast or something that is well underway if, in your head, or where is it going?
It's something that's definitely underway. Um, so what I'm looking to do is I'm making GPS a brand, beyond just fitness, beyond just youth development. And one of the lanes that I want to look at that I think kind of fits into bridging some gaps for me is what I call the GPS review. That's what I'm going to title the podcast. And it just deals with faith, family, and fitness. My wife's the one who put those three together. Um, but
They come in handy sometimes.
they do, they do. But with GPS, I wanna I wanna bridge faith, family, and fitness all together because those are the three things that are most important to me. My faith, my family, and then this fitness journey that I'm on. One of the things that I've been trying to do, and hopefully the podcast will be a way that, some word will get out and people will, hear my name. But I really want to bring fitness to the church. Fitness and faith, I feel like should go hand in hand because the Bible tells us that your body is a temple unto the Lord. So how are we treating that temple? So as as a steward of my temple, I want to help other people to be stewards of theirs. The podcast is kind of one way to do that, where we'll talk about fitness and we'll talk about faith, but there's going to be so many other topics that we touch on as well.
Okay, good, good, good. I'm looking forward to that. And again, if there's anything I can do to help you out with that, that'll be fine. Um, so fitness has come about recently and you're excelling at that. Um, your dad, your husband, you're on the choir. Um, your new job is definitely um, has potential to blossom into something else. But if you were to look now and say, what is next for Tyrell? What's next for Ty?
Oh man. Um, that is a great question. Um, Honestly, Brittany and I have just been talking about expanding our family, expanding our household. We're looking to add another little one to our family and then also to move and upgrade where we're currently living, get our kids into a better school system. I think between that and then just continuing to help her develop B&T photography as she continues to help me as I'm developing GPS fitness. Her and I are looking to, just really start to build together.
That's good. That's good. So I usually give our guests the opportunity um, to say something to the viewership as as they we're about to end the broadcast. And um, fitness is a big thing with you. You give the word. So, um, what would you like to say to the viewership that's looking at us now?
I think the thing that I want to say, and this has actually been on my heart since yesterday morning. I'm in the kitchen getting ready, getting Jackson ready for school, packing his lunch. And Jackson's in the living room singing his heart out and singing one of my favorite gospel songs. I've got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. Little does he know, I snuck a video of that because it was so pure, and you can hear it in his voice when he's singing it. he truly meant that from the bottom of his heart. That whatever it is that you're going through, everything's going to be all right. And I think that message is the same message that I want to relay. So from Jackson's lips out to the people, whatever it is that you're facing, whatever it is that you're going through, it may look bad, it may look weary, but they say a child shall lead them. And Jackson is here to tell you that everything's gonna be all right.
Sounds good. That's a good way to end the broadcast. So I appreciate you for taking your time to come on for this few minutes, to sit down and chat. We're gonna be watching, Ty. We're gonna be watching. I do want to come down and to some of the events, and please let me know. And if there's any way we can promote those events, we definitely will. But I appreciate you
Well,
for coming on, and have a good evening. See you on Sunday, I guess.
yes, sir.
Take care.
You as well.